So Marvel Rivals announced today that they are adding a mid-season ranked reset. Start of every season already drops 6 divisions, and halfway through each season you now drop an additional 4 divisions. So in other words, if you're a diamond player and don't play for a couple months because you got addicted to Balatro, well screw you buddy, next time you log on you're going to be back in silver. Obviously, this is absurd. It clearly punishes players who don't have a lot of time to play but still want to enjoy ranked, and it's an insane time commitment for anyone to play who isn't a streamer like myself. So I figured it was a great time to chat about some of my general thoughts on the problems they've created in their rank system today and why the devs are doing this, because I don't think they're dumb. So naturally, I think everyone can agree that dropping ranks every month and a half is a bit crazy. The developers even know it, which is why they're preemptively including the line, "We will tune this as necessary." But it's even more absurd because I've seen more complaints about Marvel Rivals matchmaking than almost any other game I've played, and I think it's largely due to the implementation of their rank system. To give you an example of what I'm talking about, let's imagine a fictional player, Little Timmy, a gamer who got dropped 6 divisions on season launch down from Plat 1 to Silver 1. On launch, matchmaking is totally fine because he's against other fellow Plat 1 gamers who have dropped down together to Silver that day. Maybe he wins a bunch, makes it back to Gold 3, who knows. Let's say Timmy then goes and gets addicted to Roblox for the next 3 weeks. The majority of his fellow Plat players who dropped to Silver 1 with Timmy are no longer Silver. Most of those players have progressed through the ranks and maybe they're like, high Gold or low Plat now. But when Timmy logs back on, he's still Gold 3. But now the players who are actually in a skill bracket have moved on. And Timmy is basically a high Plat player in a low Gold lobby. So in other words, because Timmy didn't play the game for 3 weeks, Timmy is now smurfing in Gold Elo. Timmy is about to absolutely dumpster these gold feeders for dozens of games until he's back to his rank where his games are competitive again. This is just a ridiculous system, and it is happening across so many players and across all the ranks constantly. It feels like every other game, somebody clearly shouldn't be in that game. Either, somebody's really bad or maybe someone's actually really good. And it leads to a lot of issues that get chalked up as, matchmaking sucks. And honestly, it does kind of suck. I played on my main account and low top 500. I mained Squirrel Girl. I didn't play for 2 or 3 weeks. Top 500 then was mid GM. Now when I logged on, top 500 is now at eternity. So if I log on and play my main characters, I'm just going to stomp everybody for dozens of games in GM and Celestial until I'm back to top 500. But this is happening across everyone, regardless of skill, at every rank. It's crazy. For comparison, how other games typically matchmake after ranked resets is by using hidden MMR. You will get put into games based on your hidden MMR, which closely tracks your skill, even if it's slightly disconnected from your visible rank. For example, if you're a Platinum 1 player who drops to Gold 3, the game knows you're a lower rank than you should be because of your hidden MMR. So it'd split the difference and try and put you in like a Gold 1 lobby instead. It would also give you more points on a win, so you get to your real rank quicker. Marvel Rivals, on the other hand, it does have a catch-up mechanic. I've seen games where I can get to like plus 30 to plus 50 per win if you go on like a hot streak and win, 10 games in a row. But the games themselves seem to be pretty strictly within one division, regardless of the hidden MMR, no matter what. This leads to a lot of weirdly imbalanced games when combined with ranked resets. Now, we haven't taken into account the upcoming mid-season ranked reset, where it's actually possible that a player who takes a break doesn't get back to their original rank before the next reset occurs. Then they would be even lower on the ladder, further degrading match quality because they would get double reset. This isn't just applicable to only like 1% of the player base, but honestly like the upper half or third of the player base. And I think this will only get worse as time goes on, as those accounts get lower and lower in rank, unless the developers add safety nets to stop those accounts from going straight to bronze. I think you'll probably see a lot of this over the next few weeks with the first seasonal reset, unless the devs change something before the launch. This has a lot of effects on the rank system beyond just match quality. I think we can all agree that rank should mean something to you. Like if you're a gold or diamond player, you should be able to picture in your mind what that looks like, and it has an identity of some sort. Like a platinum player should feel meaningfully different in mechanics and everything than a silver player, and a grandmaster player should feel different than an eternity player. But when you have too many ranked resets, it erodes the identity of these ranks because the skill they represent is constantly moving. And suddenly, ranking up isn't this cool experience of, oh, I'm this good now. Instead of saying like, oh, I got good, I'm a diamond player now. Instead, it's like a checkbox of, oh yes, I had enough time to grind up to diamond. Like we're playing RuneScape or something, trying to make a bar go up. I believe it cheapens the experience as a whole throughout the game. I mean, if you don't even have the time to play, you probably literally can't get back to your normal rank. So why bother playing at all? This system is not only obnoxious to the average player who doesn't want to grind a bunch to get back to their real rank, but I also think it's straight up disrespectful, specifically to average bronze to gold players who just want to play the game and have a good time. They are disproportionately targeted because, on top of all this stuff we've already talked about, for some reason there's no placement matches in the game. So anyone who's obviously a high ranked player coming in from quick play is forced to just absolutely slaughter the hordes of bronze to gold players for like 50 games. There should be a compromise somewhere. Like, if I'm in Eternity, I should get placed in at least gold, right? But really, I don't think the Marvel Rival devs are dumb. They have a clear goal in mind with the rank reset change, and we should definitely talk about that. It's been known for a very long time that there's a balance between ranked as a progression system and ranked as a ranking system. It's why in games we have ranked resets in the first place. It gives everyone an excuse to log in, they play a bunch of games to get their rank back, and then that's the point where they usually stop playing. Devs don't like that. They don't want you to stop playing. That's why it feels like every other game these days has more ranked resets than they used to. League of Legends and Overwatch are a couple examples of this. The devs, they see data showing that players play more when their ranked is reset, so they say, hey, let's just do some more resets. And in the background of all this, I feel like it's probably hard to argue against this idea internally, considering there's been so many layoffs lately in the gaming industry. It's such an easy lever to pull to drive more revenue, even if every time players get mad, the players and community push back on it, and the devs usually back down. Marvel Rival seems to be the next game in this sort of like overall industry trend to try and squeeze as much player time and revenue as possible. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not a ranking system purist. I actually like ranked resets when they're not excessive. I've just seen this play out a few times, so forgive me if I'm a bit cynical on this one, but the way I look at it is like this. We as players limit test in games. You pick a new character, you don't know how to play, so you hold W straight into enemy backline and feed your brains out. But maybe the next time, you hold W at a better time, straight into backline to make a big play, you figured out what you could actually do and actually get away with. But if you had just accepted playing passively the whole time, you'd never know the potential or the limits of what you could do or get away with. In my mind, this is the developer version of limit testing. There is obviously a good middle ground of ranked resets. They just don't know exactly where that line is, so they have to play aggressive to find it. They're going to overshoot and they're going to limit test and do more ranked resets than they know is a good idea. So that way they can tone it down and find the actual sweet spot from looking at the data and the numbers to figure it all out. Now, I'm also cynical enough to believe that this is partly a strategy to manage community perception as well. Inevitably, they'll back off and tone down ranked resets, and a significant part of the community will be happy that the devs are actually listening to them, even though behind the scenes, for most of us who are aware of the game being played, it's all just, a bit silly. Marvel Rivals might not be the most serious or buttoned up game on the market, but I think competitive gaming is a bit of a sacred topic to a lot of people like me. I grew up on organized teams playing scrims as soon as like 13 years old. I spent my entire childhood playing on teams and online tournaments and cups, but doing that these days is super rare. For 99.9% of people, they don't want to sit there and come up with a schedule, scrim, practice, sign up for tournaments, yada yada. They don't have that kind of time. So for them, the only outlet that's available and remaining for more serious play is really just ranked. Ranked has become that competitive outlet for gamers, even if it's not really suited for it, as a solo queue random teammate experience. But I still think it's important to talk about it and give feedback as somebody who's played thousands and thousands of hours of this genre in particular. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.